You don't need one extra dollar of income to build real wealth. Not a raise, not a side hustle, not a lottery ticket. You need to stop leaving 7 things on the table that are already yours. I'm going to call these the free levers. Every one of them is sitting in your life right now, unused. And by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly how to pull all 7, starting with money you already have and terms you already qualify for. Here's the reframe you need before any of this makes sense. Building wealth isn't primarily about earning more. It's about what you do with the money and the terms you already have access to. Most people spend their whole life chasing a bigger number on the income side while ignoring 7 free levers sitting on the cost and structure side. The rich don't necessarily earn dramatically more than everyone else. Look at the actual data on this, and it holds up. Plenty of high earners have a low net worth, and plenty of moderate earners quietly build real wealth. And the difference almost never comes down to the paycheck. It comes down to which levers got pulled and which ones got ignored. Think about it this way. Your income is one input into your financial life. It's the input everyone obsesses over because it's the most visible one, the number on your offer letter, the number your family asks about. But there are at least 7 other inputs running in the background of your financial life right now, today, whether you're paying attention to them or not. Your credit score is running in the background. Your idle cash is running in the background, earning something for somebody, just maybe not you. Your recurring bills are running in the background, renewing at whatever rate the company feels like charging this year. Every one of these is a lever. Every one of these can be pulled without a single extra dollar of income. Here's the part that should bother you a little. Most of these 7 levers cost the people or institutions on the other side of them real money every time you use one. Your bank would rather you leave cash idle. Your credit card company would rather you never move that balance. Your cable provider would rather you never call and ask for a lower rate. None of them are going to volunteer these levers to you, which is exactly why almost nobody pulls all 7, even though every single one is sitting right there, free, waiting. So let's go through all 7, from the simplest to the one almost nobody uses. And at the end, I'll show you why the 7th one is the reason the first 6 actually stick, instead of quietly fading out after a month or 2.
Free lever number 1, your credit score. This is the cheapest lever in the entire list because it costs you nothing but 10 minutes, and it changes the price of every dollar you will ever borrow for the rest of your life. Here's the math most people never run. The national average credit score right now sits around 715. Someone with a 650 score and someone with a 780 score can walk into the same bank for the same mortgage and get offered rates that differ by a full percentage point or more. On a typical 30-year mortgage, 1 point of interest is tens of thousands of dollars over the life of the loan. Same house, same loan amount, same bank, wildly different total cost. And the only variable is a 3-digit number you can move with 0 extra income.
Here's what most people get wrong about their score. They think it's a mystery, some black box the banks control. It isn't. It's mostly 2 things: how much of your available credit you're actually using, and whether you've paid on time. If you're sitting at 40 or 50% utilization on your cards, getting that down under 30, and ideally under 10, can move your score meaningfully within a single billing cycle, because utilization updates the moment your statement closes. That's not a long-term project. That's a decision you can make this week that shows up on your report next month. And every point you add doesn't just help you once. It follows you into every mortgage, every car loan, every business line of credit you ever apply for the rest of your life. Run it yourself. Pull your credit report this week. Find the 2 or 3 things dragging your score down, usually utilization or a late payment sitting on your file, and fix those specific things. That's the whole exercise, and it's the cheapest lever on this list.
Free lever number 2, 0% balance transfer arbitrage.
If you're carrying any balance on a card charging you 20 or 24% interest, you are currently on the losing side of a very simple equation. You're paying rent on money and getting nothing back for it, month after month, while the balance barely moves because most of your payment is going straight to interest. A real 0% balance transfer offer typically runs for 18 to 21 months, sometimes longer, with a transfer fee of 3 to 5%, charged once, upfront, and nothing else after that. Run the number. You're paying roughly 3% total to rent that money for almost 2 years, instead of 24% a year to keep it exactly where it is. That's not a rounding error. That's turning a losing trade into a winning one, without earning a single extra dollar or cutting a single expense elsewhere in your life. The only two things to check before you move a balance are whether there's an origination fee on the new card and whether the old balance has a prepayment penalty for paying it off early. If both are clear, moving the balance the same week the offer arrives is close to a guaranteed win, and every month you wait is a month you're paying 24% for no reason.
Free lever number 3. Stop letting idle cash sit for free. If you have money sitting in a checking account or a low-interest savings account doing nothing, your bank is quietly using it to earn 3 to 4% while paying you a fraction of a percent. That's not an accusation. That's literally the business model. They take your deposit, lend it out, or buy treasuries with it, and pocket the difference. You can cut the bank out of that trade entirely without taking on any more risk than you're already taking by trusting them with your money in the first place. A treasury bill fund or a high-yield savings account currently pays somewhere between 3.5% and 4.5%, and treasury income specifically is exempt from state and local tax, which is a detail almost nobody factors in. On $20,000 sitting idle, the difference between a standard savings account paying a fraction of a percent and simply parking that same cash in a treasury bill fund is often several $100s a year for doing nothing except moving it once from one account to another. This isn't investing in the risky sense. There's no stock picking, no timing the market, no chance of losing your principal. This is refusing to let your own idle money work for someone else for free when it could just as easily work for you. Free lever number 4. Negotiate the recurring bills you're already paying. Most people treat their phone bill, their internet bill, their insurance premium, and their subscriptions as fixed costs, like the price is handed down from the mountain. It isn't. Every one of these categories has a retention department whose entire job is to keep you from canceling. And that department has room to move that the advertised price never shows you. A single 15-minute phone call asking to lower your rate or match a competitor's offer routinely saves people 10 to 30% on a bill they were about to pay anyway. Insurance is often the biggest one. Auto and home insurance premiums drift upward every renewal unless you push back. And simply calling to ask for a review or getting one competing quote and mentioning it regularly knocks meaningful money off the annual premium. Run the number across 4 or 5 recurring bills: phone, internet, insurance, streaming, and gym, and you can free up real monthly cash without touching your income at all. That freed up cash is fuel for every other lever on this list, because every dollar you stop overpaying here is a dollar available to redirect into lever 3 or lever 5. Free lever number 5. Capture the money your employer is already offering you. If your job offers a 401k match and you're not contributing enough to get the full match, you are leaving free money on the table every single pay period, forever, until you fix it. A common match structure is 50 cents on the dollar, up to 6% of your salary. If you're not putting in that 6%, you're walking past a guaranteed, immediate, risk-free return that no investment on earth can match. Not the stock market, not real estate. Nothing beats an instant 50% return on day one. The same logic applies to a health savings account if your employer offers one. Since contributions reduce your taxable income today, grow tax-free while invested, and come out tax-free for medical expenses later, which makes it one of the only triple tax-advantaged accounts that exists. Neither of these requires a raise.
They require redirecting money that is already flowing through your paycheck into a bucket your employer is already willing to match or shelter from tax, instead of letting it land in checking and quietly disappear into everyday spending. Free lever number 6. Use float and terms the way a business does. This is the same mechanism a company uses when a supplier gives them 30, 60, or 90 days to pay for inventory they've already sold. The business sells the product, collects the cash, and only then pays the bill, keeping its own money working the entire time in between. You can run a smaller version of this in your own life. If you get paid on the 1st of the month and a bill isn't due until the 28th, that gap is float. And the question is only whether you're using it or wasting it. Paying a bill the moment it lands in your inbox instead of on its actual due date doesn't make you responsible. It just moves your own cash out of your control early for no reason and hands the float to someone else for free. Keep cash in an account earning something, like the Treasury bill fund from lever 3, until the day the bill is actually due. Then pay it. It's a small lever individually, but stacked across every bill you have, every month, for years, the extra interest and flexibility adds up, and it costs you nothing but paying attention to dates you already have on a calendar you already keep. Free lever number 7, the one almost nobody runs. Automate the spread between what your money earns and what it costs. Once you've pulled the first 6 levers, you have a lower cost of borrowing, cash that isn't sitting idle, freed up money from negotiated bills, employer matching working in your favor, and float doing its job instead of leaking away instead of leaking out. The 7th lever is simply refusing to let all of that progress quietly leak back out through inattention, which is exactly what happens to most people within a few months of making these changes. Set an automatic transfer the same day you get paid, before you see the money sitting in your checking account tempting you to spend it. That way, the gap you just created between what things cost you and what your money earns gets captured every single time, automatically, without requiring willpower, discipline, or a bigger paycheck to sustain it. This is the lever that makes the other 6 permanent instead of temporary. And it's the reason some people pull all 6 levers for a month and then quietly drift back to where they started, while others keep the gains for good. Here's all 7 together. 1. Fix your credit score. It's free, and it lowers the cost of every dollar you'll ever borrow for the rest of your life. 2. Move high-interest balances to a 0% offer, and stop paying rent you don't have to pay on money that was never earning you anything. 3. Stop letting idle cash sit for free. Park it somewhere it actually earns something while you decide what to do with it. 4. Negotiate your recurring bills. A 15-minute phone call is worth more per hour than most jobs will ever pay you. 5. Capture your full employer match. That's guaranteed money you're currently walking past every single pay period. 6. Use float on your own bills the way a business uses supplier terms, and let your money work right up until the day it's actually due. 7. Automate the gap, so none of the first 6 levers quietly disappear the moment you stop paying attention. Notice what's missing from that list. There's no mention of a second job, a side hustle, a raise, or a risky investment. Every single one of these 7 levers already exists in your financial life today, whether you've been pulling them or not. And every single one of them is free. None of these require a raise, a side hustle, or a single extra dollar of income. They require you to stop leaving free levers unused. The people who build wealth without earning dramatically more than everyone around them aren't doing something exotic or hidden from you. They're just pulling every free lever available to them consistently, month after month, while everyone else pulls 1 or 2 and calls it done. That consistency, more than any single lever on this list, is the actual difference between the 2 outcomes. So here's the question. Of these 7, which one have you never actually run? Is it the credit score you've never checked? The balance you've never moved, the idle cash you've never parked, the bill you've never negotiated, the match you're not capturing, the float you're wasting, or the automation you haven't set up. Tell me in the comments, because the first lever anyone pulls is usually the one they finally admit they've been ignoring the whole time. If this showed you money you didn't know you were leaving on the table, subscribe to The Real Numbers Show and hit the notification bell. We break down the hidden math behind the financial decisions you face every day.